Hello, welcome back. It's me. Nobody cares about me anyway, so welcome back to another roguelite game review. At this point, this game is kinda my favorite thing to play because I like to waste time, sit in my ass, and play games all day. So today we're gonna talk about Roboquest. I actually found this game through YouTube recommendation. Like one day they show me the ads, and I was like, well, that was kinda interesting. So Roboquest is a roguelite, fast-paced FPS from Rise Up Studios. With a post-apocalyptic robo invasion new worldly theme, they implemented a fast-paced shooter to the game with a bunch of unique weapons and art style. In this game, you play as a robot called Guardian fighting against an army of bad robots. As of making this video, the game have 3 stages with their own bosses, but the game is still in early access with a relatively small group of devs, so maybe it can change in the future. So Roboquest have a similar style that is to Borderlands, but they lean more heavily to the cartoony side. They don't have a crazy outlines style like Borderlands do, but if you look around the weapon visual effects, when they shoot, it'll give you that, sound effect, bam, pow, or something like that, popping here and there, similar to what comic books do to describe a shooting action, So it feels familiar yet quite unique. It's like you're playing a character inside that comic book sort of things, if that makes sense. And then when you clear a level, you'll get these cutscenes made out of a moving comic, I guess that's what you call it. Well then, let's move on to the guns. Some of them look generic, like hunting rifle, a scout, SMG, the AWP, kinda gun, but then there are some crazy ass gun, like 2 chainsaw, minigun but it's shotgun, some kind of launcher and other like big things, big guns. But they somehow managed to make it fit to the game, like it looks like the gun was made from scraps of metals from robots or other machine from there. Let's talk about the enemy design in this game. So I bought this game like earlier this year, it was January, and the thing that still sticks to me is that they are lacking in enemy type in my opinion. But since then they have added quite the amount of new enemy type, but then I didn't really recognize them at first when I come back to the game. It took me like a few runs to notice that there are new enemies and which is which. Now I think the reason for that is the enemy model or design. They look quite similar, they have a similar main body, just a different like little accessories and part that don't really stand out as much in my opinion. Now let's talk about the map. For the most part, they did a good job on decorating the terrain. It's just sometimes I got bored with it, because one whole level looks so similar. It feels like they created a small part of it and then copy and paste it, then move something here and there. But I don't know, I'm just speculating, but it sure feels like it. On top of that, the map feels so small and claustrophobic. I think it's too small for a game that have this fast movement and double jump thing. Like you can expand the map a little bit and make some kind of platforming session or explosive barrel or breakable objects and make it interesting, Or maybe instead of moving forward, you can make it that the player needs to go up or something like that. Also, if you want to make a linear map, I would love to have some choices of where I want to go. They already have this in the first level and a couple more that is still on the work. Like they give you these 3 choices and each of them have different layout or kind of biome. I would like if that happened more often. Now let's talk about my perspective on the gameplay side of things. The game does feel fast-paced, You move around the map pretty fast. They give you a basic double jump, and you can do this sort of slide jumping, and also you can grind on these rails. You can move freely while shooting at the same time in the air, and the fun thing is you can head bonk the enemy, like you jump onto the enemy and it'll bounce you up again. It plays relatively similar to those movement based games like Quake or Diabotical, or even Apex Legends if you wanna really stretch it. So in other words, the movement feels comfortable and not clunky. You can combine those movements with two perks that you can bring along every run. There are some basic stuff like triple jump, ground slam, and more things you can unlock along the way. You started at a simple hub that you will upgrade over time once you have enough currency. This will unlock a lot of things like the perk that I've told you before, weapon special stats, or starting weapon and more things. You gonna start your run after choosing classes, currently they have 4 of them, and after choosing your difficulty, pretty basic things. Once you are in the game, after killing enemies they will drop this kind of blue orb that will level you up to unlock buffs that will modify or simply just buff your abilities. The weapon also have a level. For example, starting weapon will always be level 1 indicated by the stars. To level it up, you can either buy it on a station or loot it from fallen enemies. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I'm pretty sure you don't need to grind for the entire arsenal. It'll just be on a random drops, so there will be less grind to the game. One more thing that will scale your overall performance is these cores that you can find in chests. Every core corresponds with the weapon type and will give them extra damage and one other buff for the character. For the most part, I like how the gun feels in this game, especially the snipers. I don't know why, but sniping in this game is satisfying, like the ADS time transition is nice. I wish they have different scope UI for every scope weapon, but for now, it's one for all. It's not that it's bad, it's actually pretty good. It's clear and not over the top. I think out of all the weapon type, they nailed sniper the most, but then there are some lifeless ones like the SMGs. I just feel like they don't have enough punch that you can feel, so it makes them flat and boring. All in all, the game is pretty optimized. I rarely have frame drops considering my PC is pretty bad, and almost never see bugs. Only recently some enemies start to clip with objects, but so far my experience playing the game have been smooth. Now, should you buy it right now? I think you should wait a little bit longer or just wait for launch, because the content they give you right now are pretty shallow and too easy to grind. But if you want to buy it right now, I think they have an update coming up that will introduce new things. And that is it from me. If you want to check out the game, it's available on Steam. And if you decided to play the game, leave me a comment of what you think about it. Subscribe and like, I guess. I'll see you later.